Hello, my lovely edge dwellers. Lucca here, Power Sorcerer. Welcome to Ask Lucca Live, episode 22 on August the 5th. So I'm on just a few minutes early here so that we can collect everyone together and everybody can find us. So if you're listening to this in the recording, you probably want to go about 2 minutes in to find the real beginning. Hi, Jen. I really like that the community is small enough that I can say everybody's name as they come on, and I know who they are. So I know who you are, Jen. We've got one other person on here today, but we don't know who it is yet. It's the mystery person. I'm glad you feel connected, Jen. Not connected, collected and connected. Hi, Tracy. Hello from New Zealand. Well, hello back from Vancouver. You're just coming into spring now. We're coming into fall and you're coming into spring. I always have to flip my brain so that I'm looking at the world from the other end. So good. Hi, Flora. Yeah, you're the mystery person. That's great. It's a glorious day today. Hi, Renata. Yeah, it's a glorious day here today, so I'm looking forward to spending a little time in the sun after we get done today. For those of you where it's still daylight. It is still daylight for you, isn't it, Tracy? You're, I think, if I remember correctly, 4 hours back, but a day forward. So it would be morning for you, but tomorrow for me. Hi, Maureen. Welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my preamble for anybody. Hi, Jennifer. I'll start with my preamble, and the preamble is so if any of you have fast forwarded through here, I'm Lucca Halleck's Power Sorcerer, and this is Ask Lucca Live, episode 22 on August the 5th. So what I say to everybody before I start a session like this is that your gut feel about what's right for you is more important than anything anybody can tell you, and that includes me. And you'll see in the group, in the Ask Lucca Live group, that I've pinned to the top some of the things to keep in mind as I'm reading. So I won't go through all of them because they're there for you to take a look at, but they're worth having a quick glance at. So what we're going to be doing today is I've got a number of questions from a few of you, and not as many this week as I had last week. So we'll see what comes through. And I think my guides have got some stuff to share with you before we even get started. So yeah, 8:30 in the morning. I'm pleased that you got up this early. This is great. So we're going to answer today both the asked and the intended questions. So what happens for many of us is that we don't exactly know what the question should be. There's some kind of dis-ease, some kind of stuckness, some kind of uncertainty about a decision, whatever it is. And so we ask a question that we think gets as close to it as we can get. And a lot of people say to me, well, I'm not exactly sure that's the right question, but that's as close as I can be. So don't worry about it. It's your intention that counts. And the intention is going to get the answer that you need to have, whether you've asked exactly the right question or not. And also for all of you who are here who haven't asked a question this week, you're going to get something out of this no matter what. So time and space are not what we think they are. So if I give you any information that's about the future, or if I give you any information that you're not sure about even, take it and put it in a holding tank and wait until you get some validation on it, because sometimes the validation doesn't come until later. Sometimes I give you a piece of information that you're not quite ready for right now, but you will be in a week or even in a few hours or a few days, or sometimes it's 3 months. So somebody will call me back and say, oh, you remember you said so-and-so? And I never remember. And then they'll tell me that they know what it means now. So holding tank, very, very useful. When I get to the end of the session today, I'll stick around for another 5-10 minutes and give you a little more information about what I do and how you can get yourself involved in my services or explore them further if you're not sure, all of that information will be at the end. So I'll leave that there because many of you have already worked with me, and so you don't need to know that. And so I don't repeat it at the beginning every time. So I've had some interesting experiences this week. My guides have been coming through and giving me more information about what's going on worldwide. But I had a comment this past week about, and I shared it in the reminder yesterday, but some of you may not have seen that. And that is that there's more going on here in a session than is communicated by what comes out of my mouth, the words that come out of my mouth. And my guides have been telling me this for years. And I know it in principle, but I don't always get the direct feedback about that. And this week I got the direct feedback about it. The person who sent it to me said that they felt a bit jangled and discombobulated and ungrounded and uncertain before the Ask Lucca live session started. And then once we began, everything calmed down. And my experience has been that that's what happens with this energy. So by coming together in this Ask Lucca Live group, which I call my little group of edge dwellers, and it's not so little anymore, it's getting bigger all the time. What we're really doing is we're participating in a community, and we're saying we believe that the world in which we live is changing, and that we're here for the change. In other words, we want it. Hi, Myrna. We want the world to change, and so that experience is unfolding as we speak. And I was doing a reading this earlier today, and telling the woman I was working with that that we're already well into this change. It may not look like that, but we are well into it. It's just that the media empire has a vested interest, and that's not every person who participates in it on a day-to-day level, but overall the machinery of it has an interest in maintaining the system that put it there in the first place, and it basically governs by fear, and if as long as it can instill fear, it can get us to do things that are going to create profit. So there's a profit belief system behind it. The system we're moving into has to do with collaboration and community, and about each of us expressing from the essence of who we are in a way that really works. Hi, Desiree. So this is, they show it to me like this, and I've said this over and over again, right? This is the facade that is what we've been told the world is. And continue to be told that this is what the world is. And this is the new system, the new grid, the new way of looking at things, the multidimensional paradigm. So what's happening is this system is going to fall, and as it falls, this one is going to rise up and replace it. So we don't need to be afraid that when this falls, there's nothingness. What this is sitting here right below the surface. We just some of us can see it. I see it every day. But I don't necessarily see it in the mainstream media. Although I have to say I see a lot more of it in the mainstream media now than I ever have in the past. We get used to it. We get acclimatized to it. But when I was investigating all of this stuff in the late 70s and early 80s, it was hard to even find a book about it. There were no Eckhart Tolles. Oprah wasn't talking to people like him. This was not, none of these people were household words. And they are now. So that means that things have really, really changed a lot. And that makes me feel better. It should make all of you feel better as well. So I'm going to increasingly use this Ask Lucca Live group to put these reminders up. Because my sense from what you guys are saying to me over the course of the time between these sessions is that we just need these reminders. And even people like me, we don't see a lot of other people like us out there. And I had contact with 3 people this past week where I know that we need to be reminding ourselves, one another, that we are in a shift. And the shift is what we came here for. And it is better for us. It fits better with our own value systems. So there you go. There's my introductory preamble today. So let me move on to The first question that we have, which is a leftover from last week from Kathy. Kathy says, could you please put on your list anything that comes up with my mom and dad or uncle who've passed away? My mom just passed away last November, and are there any of those guiding me? Yes, not all of them. I think that well, they alternate. It's like they're a tag team. So there's always at least one of them with you, but they're not all of them there with you usually all the time, every day. You were a tight unit. I don't know that you were a tight unit, all of you together, like 4 of you in the room at the same time, but I have the sense that you were close with each one of them individually. And so that's going to continue as they're dead now. You're dead, whatever dead means. In other words, they've moved into another room in the house. You're going to be close with each of them individually, still individually. And that's not always the case, but that seems to be the case for you. That's the information that I'm getting about this for you. Do any of them have any information? No, none of them. Oh, no. So they don't have anything to say to you today. They just want you to be reassured that they're there. Anytime you reach out for them, Kathy, they are available for you. And because time and space are not what we think they are, you're not taking them away from anything else. That's only something that happens in the linear model, in the three-dimensional model, where we think that time is linear, but it's not. So there is no taking more than your fair share, because it isn't a pie to be divided up. It doesn't work that way. And maybe we'll get more about how it really does work. But they're saying to me, okay, that's enough for the moment. So Kathy, that answers your question. Tracy, a friend has suggested a manager's role at an artist retreat that also teaches biodiversity. Would this be a good move? Yeah, you can say here's my face doing my head doing the pendulum thing. Yes, it would be good. It would be a good fit for you. I don't know if it's ready as soon as you would like it to be ready, but if you can hold out that long, and I don't even know if you know how long it's. The time is a little, it's a little sloshy, this time frame on this one, Tracy. But yes, it would be a good fit for you. It's not the only possibility for you, but I think you would enjoy it. You'd meet some really interesting people, and you would get to be in your ambassador's role, which you really love. You're a born ambassador. So that's for you, Tracy. And are they saying anything? No, they're saying basically sit tight right now. There's a lot of change going on. So you will see a lot of change over the month of what's left of the month of August. We're halfway through already. And into September, before things start to kind of shake down. A lot of what's going to come up next is not negotiable. It will happen. Some of it is going to come as a result of earth shifts, nature. And the rest of it that has to do with people, the people are still at choice, and they're going to be influenced by what is revealed to them. So there's a number of things that are going to be revealed over the next August, September, and into the middle of October. And it'll be along the lines of truths that will come out that are going to make us feel like everything's getting worse, and it's not. It's just that we can see more of it. And when we can see more of it that we couldn't see before, or that we hadn't had proof for before, or validation for before, it's going to make us feel hopeless. It'll be really easy for us to tip into the hopelessness. So I'm going to ramp up the things that I share here to help remind us about what we're really doing and what's really going on, because we can't heal anything until we can see what it is we're healing, and the truth must come out. So remember that. Like, you might want to write it on a Post-it note and put it on your mirror in your bathroom, so that every time you wash your hands, which we're having to do so much of right now, you'll put it somewhere where you're going to see it all the time, and you'll decide how you want to phrase it. So that's for Tracy. Jennifer, Jennifer says, I need some guidance about moving forward with a couple of ideas. Is it the right time for me to make some changes and put myself on the line, so to speak, or should I stay where I am? Well, it's not an either or. Stay where you are and put yourself on the line. The on the line doesn't have to wait for a change in location. The location option, it feels like there's a door and it keeps opening and then slamming shut again. I remember when my mother used to say when I was a kid, I'd go out of the door and come back in and go out and come back in, and she'd say, for God's sake, make up your mind. Are you in or are you out? And I remember teachers saying that to kids in the classroom too. But this move thing keeps, the door opens and it closes and it opens and it closes. When it opens for real, you will know. You're not going to be wondering if it's for real. You will know it's for real, and then you will make up your mind. But in the meantime, there's more information to come out. But before that happens, you can still, as you say in quotation marks, put yourself on the line. Do you know? Yes, you know how you're supposed to put yourself on the line. This is not a hidden deal for you. It's not something that you don't know about yet. It has to do with something that your mother always said to you. I think your mother used to tell you that you were good at something and you couldn't see how you could use it. So it was like, yeah, that's fine, but what do I do with it? Well, I think you're coming to a point in your life where by changing the frame on the picture a little bit, you'll be able to see it in a different way. And if you can see it in a different way, you'll know what to do with it. And so it's not taking everything that you know of and that you can do so far and just tossing it out the window. This has to do with integrating something that your mother used to say you were good at. That's what they're telling me. And folding it in. I see you making bread and folding more flour in, right? Kneading more flour in. You're going to knead this into what you're already doing, and it's going to change how you do it. Then you're going to have to decide how you offer it differently. In other words, how do you describe it differently so that people will know what it is that you're offering? I'm just going to have a quick look. Tracy says the new role wouldn't be available until the new year, depending on the property being sold or not. Yeah. So I'm picking that up for you, Tracy, that there's a time thing here. But there might be something else that you do in the interim. And it may not look like there's money associated with it, but it could be some kind of exchange or barter or somewhere to live or something like that. So keep that in mind as you consider your alternatives. All right. So, Jennifer, I think that's all I have to tell you right now about the, we're all having to right now take the pieces of ourselves that are part of our intergalactic beingness, our non-earthling beingness, and fold it in with the things that we're doing as quote unquote earthlings. We want to stir it all in together and let the flavors all meld in together. And that's part of what this fall is going to be like. So we want to continue with this pause. And that doesn't mean don't do anything. It just means we're still in this place of not knowing really what's going to come next. And we need to enjoy this piece. I just did a show, my Essential Conversations show with Rebecca this week, and we were talking about silence. In other words, what happens when you're looking for something and it doesn't seem like there's anything there? You ask the question and what you get is crickets. And so we were talking about that. So you might find that interesting as well. That idea of what happens, what does silence mean to you, and what happens in that silence, and how could it be valuable if you viewed it differently? So you're very welcome, Jennifer. Next question is from Steve. Steve says, I'm contemplating living full-time on a boat for a year or two. Is this something that you see in my cards? Well, as soon as I read the question, Steve, what I saw was a boat, like a houseboat, but not a houseboat, but a boat that's tied up and it stays there and you're just living on it. But as I read it this time, I'm thinking, oh, maybe what you meant was like sailing around the world boat. But I'm not seeing a sailing around the world boat. I think what I'm getting here is a boat that is you want to be living on top of your emotions, and water is emotions. So this gets you closer to the fluidity of your emotions. And because you're going back right now through your life and you are re-evaluating, reviewing what was going on emotionally in your life when you were young. Because there's some remnants left over from that time that are affecting you in the here and now. And so you want to be playing around with what if it didn't mean this? What if it meant something else? And you can explore some of what that something else might be. And then take a look at how would that affect your life now if you knew about it. Now, if my sense is that this boat idea, if it comes about, if you decide to go with it, the time isn't set. I have a feeling that there would be a certain amount of time, and then you'd get to revisit your decision, and so would whoever is on the other end of the boat. I don't know if it's a loan or a lease or a sale I don't know what I mean. Sale, both meanings of the word sale. This boat could go out on the water, but I don't see you living out on the water. I see you living in the harbor. Or by the riverbank, or by the wherever it is that you are. It doesn't feel like ocean. So that's why I'm saying riverbank, and I don't know where you are, but that might be the case. So it's interesting. If there's a theme today, it's that we're being shown like a little soupçon of what's coming, but then we can't see anything else. So if that little taste that you're getting feels good, go with it. If it doesn't feel good, if it's iffy, if you're not sure, wait until it feels good. And sometimes something is damn scary, but it still feels good. If it feels good, move with it. And if it's not right, you'll get information fairly early on in the process that says, nope, we need to back out of this one again. Don't be afraid to back out of it if it doesn't feel right, but give yourself permission to, so that you're not afraid to go into it in the first place. But really listen to your inner knowing before you make any decisions. My sense, Steve, is you're not going to have to make this decision just yet. So you've got a little bit of time. You've got a little buffer in which to contemplate it. And I think there is an alternative that you could go with, but I don't think you can see what it is yet. So, and that, I think if the time frame on this is what I think it is, it should show up. What they're showing me is September the 25th. And I'm leery about actual dates, but take it for what it's worth and see if that September 25th makes any kind of sense to you. And sounds like fun living on a boat. As long as you're warm enough and dry enough, it sounds like it would be really interesting. Nina's question is, any guidance for this upcoming hiking camping trip? And I see that we have about 8 minutes left. So if any of you have any other questions that you want to throw in here, if you didn't, I'll take the ones from people who haven't asked me a question yet today. But if you have one that you want to throw in, then feel free to throw it in and I'll get to it after I've answered Nina's question. So Nina, any guidance for this upcoming hiking camping trip? Well, it's an opportunity for you to be in that pause. And my sense is that you should watch for what happens on that trip that feels like it could be a metaphor for your life. So this is your opportunity to take a look at your life and figure out where you'd like to go next and what you'd like to do with yourself next. And it's not going to be a bear coming out from behind a tree and saying, this is what you should do next, but it will it will show you some of the things that you're taking into consideration, some of your reactions, some of your hopes, fears, anticipations. They will all come up for you to review. So take the opportunity to write down anything that makes you, that gives you a record so that you can go back and review it after you get back again. Because not all of the ideas, solutions, things to consider are going to be immediately evident to you while you make the trip. But so just really stay in the moment and keep a record for yourself. And you might just talk it into your phone, or you might write it down. It depends on who you are and how you do that. So it could be like a version of a video journal, because I'm seeing you talking into, but then you have to have a way to recharge your phone. So I think that's all for you. It feels like a good trip. It feels like I don't know what the weather's going to be like. So make sure that you have enough to keep you occupied and comfortable if there's any inclement weather in there. But it's not going to be, if there is, it's not going to be terrible the whole time you're away. And the weather is part of the message for you. Okay, so Jen's got a question. So I'll have a look at that. Desiree has a question, and so does Henrietta. And neither of you have asked, so I will go with you first, and then go back again. So, I just made my messages go away now. How do I? I have to figure out how to make my. How do I make my messages come? Maybe. Whoops. Now I've turned the screen around. Don't want that. Now you can all see my door and what's outside. I don't know. I seem to have made my so I don't know how to make all my messages come back again. So I guess I won't be doing that. It's the first time I've done that one. And none of my little boxes here at the bottom of the screen I can write a message, but I don't know how to get anybody else's messages back. And I can't even read what you're telling me because I can't see them. So there's my big so. So I guess they're telling me to wrap this up. Let me see if there's any other big questions. And I think I can see those messages when I go on after I finish this. So I will shove them over into next week for you so that we don't lose them. So all three of you, I'll throw that over into next week. So in the meantime, if they've made that all my messages go away, yeah, what are you trying to tell me? Let me see if there's something else. Yes, there is. Okay, so we've got a few more minutes to go into this. So they want me to tell you that every day you should put aside, they're saying 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. They're being very precise about this. And they're telling me as well, to put this time aside to tune into the bigger picture, the world that's beyond the COVID pandemic, and into who you are on your highest level. And they want you to make note of what you get. And sometimes what you get is what you notice. So it might be noises, it might be distractions, whatever those are. If you've put yourself into that time and state, then those distractions have meaning. So record them, capture them in some way. You might need to do some kind of movement. You might chant. You might just close your eyes and do a meditation. You might do a short yoga nidra. You might write, like journaling, automatic writing. That might be what does it for you. But whatever it is, put it in place each day. Each day, put it in there. And it doesn't have to be at the same time. Some of you will feel much more comfortable if you put it in at the same time. But they're saying put it in once a day, and you might over time discover that there's a time that works better for you. And capture what you're getting. And the more times you show up like that, the more you'll start to see patterns, and you'll start capturing. So they'd like you to do that. It's going to be, even if you need it now, you're going to need it even more as we get into the fall. This is going to be a bit of a tumultuous time. It's not that we're going to get thrown around, but there's going to be a lot for us to absorb and a lot for us to adjust to in the world. And so they want a place, a nucleus that is under your personal control, that you come back to, that we come back to each day, and find peace. Because this is connected to our essence, to our higher selves, to our soul, it's going to make us feel more peaceful and more in harmony, more genuine. This has meaning. This is where we connect in. They're doing like this. This is where we really connect into our meaning. So do that and suggest it to anybody you know. Also, they're telling me that it's time for us to grow this community even more. So if you know somebody and you would like to, because you're in the group, you can invite other people to join the group. They don't have to accept, but you can issue the invitation. So all people have to do is friend me, and then I can invite them in. I can't invite them in until they friended me, but you, as people who are in the group, you can invite them in, because we're going to start to, as we breathe in, we're going to make the group a little bit bigger, and we'll come down to this little nucleus on Saturdays. But what we create here, we're also sending out. So the next in-breath is all the people who watch this in the recording, and all the people you talk to about realizations that you have as you come out of this, and anybody else that you share this with, if it's somebody who's in your family or somebody who's directly impacted by you. That's all part of this process. So they're saying this should be a community that feels simpatico, where there are other people of like mind and like heart who get it, and we can share here within this community, and you can share things with one another. Like, you can come and post in this community also, because you're members of the community. So that's what they wanted me to add in here today, before we finish this live session. So I'm back again next Saturday. I will be, as far as things stand at the moment, I will be continuing to do this up until January. So you can expect to see me here, same bat station, same bat channel, bat cave, whatever. You can tell I'm the era of the original Batman. Until January. So this is every Saturday from 1:30 until 2. And you can get your questions to me anytime during the week. I just add them onto the list, but I need them by noon. And I will roll over the last 3 questions. I'll roll them over into next week, and we can go from there. So that's the end of our official session for this week. So if any of you would like to know a little bit more about the services that I'm offering and how I'm configuring that, then I will give you a little bit of an update. And for those of you who already know what I offer, I need to have a cup of tea here. For those of you who already know what I offer, then thank you for being here. It's been a great pleasure to have you here. You help me to do your questions, and your presence helps me to do what I love to do most in the world. So in terms of what I offer, there's 2 prongs to it. One prong is they're interfering, and they're telling me there's 3 prongs to it. One is who I am and how I live. So they have been telling me recently over the last year or so that I'm a portal. And a portal is somewhere where there's an interface of energy. So I'm an interface between the energy that the intergalactic energy that those of us who are here have, and the three-dimensional earth energy of us all walking around in our earth suits. So that's the first thing that I do, and I do it all the time by breathing. I have a portal here in my living room. I take it with me where I go. So if I'm sitting in a cafe and people come and sit down beside me, and they're coming into that energy field and they're participating in it. So that's one piece that is not my paid work, but it's my planetary work. The other piece is that I do readings, and there's only one of them that has a fixed price right now, and that's the Ping Mini reading, and that is a 15-minute session for $30, and you send me 2 questions ahead of time, and then I answer them for you. Now, obviously, in 15 minutes, we can't answer the meaning of the universe, but it's really great if you have a very specific question, or if we've worked together before and I already have the background on you, or if you have a question that is bite-sized. And even if you have a huge question, we'll get the bite-sized piece that you need in that 15 minutes. Just don't expect me to explain the meaning of the universe in 15 minutes. And then I offer hour-long readings. And they're all online at the moment, but once this seclusion time is over, I will be coming back out and meeting people in person again. That's another way that I offer it, and then the third way that I offer it is in reading circles, and you can host a reading circle, and I'm doing them online at the moment. So it's like this, but it's longer, and I go into more detail on what I do and how I do it, and so there's a little bit more of an educational piece, and I get a longer channel from our higher selves, and then I go around the circle and I do a reading for each person in the circle. So if you'd like any more information about that, then you can book an exploratory session with me through the booking page on my website. You can book an exploratory session about any of the things that I offer. They're all in that first exploratory section on the booking part of my website. And then the third piece of what I offer is coaching and teaching and facilitation of you using your own intuition. So I do it one-on-one. I call that power in your back pocket. Because people used to say to me, I wish I had you in my back pocket when I was at this meeting or when I was organizing this or making this decision. So we're putting me in your back pocket. So that's one. And I do those in 3-month contracts. And the payment for it is negotiable at the moment because I'm experimenting with that as we go through this virus process. So you can find out more information about my thinking about the rates and about barter and exchange and what all of that means. I did a blog post about it, and it's at the bottom of the menu on my website, so you can read that. And then the last way in which I offer the teaching is in something that I call power circles, and that's when I get together with groups of 5 to 6 people, and it's spread out to create good habits around this. And the group, the community of the group, and the support of the group, it's spread out over the course of a year, and with 8 active half-day sessions that we do in that time, and the rest of them are online like this. And so I'm happy to talk to you about that. You can book an exploratory session about that, and I can give you all the information about it. So I am a niche coaching person, and the niche has to do with what I say to everybody is you too can speak intuition. So that's me teaching you how to hear your own intuition and trust it and work with it in really practical ways. And I use mine as a backup for yours. I'm kind of like your training wheels while you get going with all of this. So that's all the services that I offer. My rates are open. I will not make anybody feel badly about offering an amount that's different than my stated regular fee for any of my services. So don't feel embarrassed about offering something. It might be a partial exchange, a barter, just don't feel embarrassed about it. I'm not going to get offended. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. I won't think less of you. This is really about me using my intuition and you using your intuition to come up with an amount that works that doesn't deprive you of food in your mouth and a roof over your head, right? I want to make sure that you get what you need in this time, which is such a critical, pivotal time, and without harm to you. And at the same time, I'm in the same boat as you, and I'm earning a living as well. So we will find our way to a place that feels right, and it's just right for now, right? We don't know. The next time you come and see me, we might do something differently around it. But do feel free to read my blog post about it on my website, the bottom of the menu on my website. So I think that's all I need to tell you about today. I'll be back again with Ask Lucca Live next week. It is my pleasure to do this. It's a service from my heart to yours. I'm not charging for it, and I won't be charging for it right up until January. And what happens after January, I don't know yet, because I do this a week at a time by what they tell me I ought to be doing. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Recordings will be up by about 3 o'clock. This one on Facebook will be up right away, but I'll also put it onto Instagram and onto YouTube, and the YouTube one will be accessible through a link on my website, so it's going to be there. So feel free to enjoy, and feel free to invite anybody else to join the group, because we're expanding. We're expanding the ripples of this energy as it goes out into the world. Thank you, and until next time, remember, you too can speak intuition.